Hello, it's me, Zoti from the Light Collective. And on this episode of the Light Collective, we have another beautiful guest joining us. So come on in here, get comfortable. Let's get started. The Light Collective, the Light Collective, the Light. And welcome back. How good it is to see you all again. And to my right, I have the wonderful, the beautiful Auset Ra Amen. Priestess Auset Ra Amen. How are you, ma'am? How are you?
I am great, priestess. Honored to be on your show. I'm always honored to link with the other priestesses, and priest. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, it is an honor to have you. You have been making your rounds around the YouTube streets, as we call
Right.
them, and we love you on these YouTube streets. I want you to know you are making an impact. You and other, beautiful priestesses and women in the know are making such an impact to the people to help them with their spirituality, tapping into their spirituality, and we appreciate you, and we're very happy to have you on the podcast. So there is a lot going on in this
Yes.
world lately. I think most people can feel, even if they're not spiritually inclined, I think most people can feel a shift. They can feel a shift. They can feel a difference in the energy, a difference in their aura, even if they can't tap into what it is that's happening. So, how would you speak to those people who may not know, hey, what's going on right now? Like, I feel something, I don't know what's going on. Can you give the people some insight from your view? What is going on right now in these times?
Well, what is happening is that Mother Earth is shifting. Her frequency has risen because some people don't realize that Mother Earth is a living being. If it
Yes.
wasn't living, grass wouldn't grow, trees wouldn't grow. You know what I'm saying? And she feels things. And so the frequency on the planet is rising because we as human beings, we're also evolving. And so for those people who, everyone is born with spiritual gifts, every single person, but some may have more than some. And there's some of us like yourself, me, that come here specifically to educate others, you know, with our gifts that are enhanced. And so for the people who don't know what's going on, one of the things that I would recommend is meditation. Sitting in with self is so critical, so important, because when you sit in with self, you get, messages, because the universe is always speaking to us.
Yes.
And we just have to just tune in, tap in, and listen. And it takes practice because you're talking to somebody that's bipolar, manic depressive, with psychosis. Okay.
Okay.
Like I might have to take one of my Wellbutrin today. But
Yeah.
yeah. And I learned how to meditate because I was always so hyper and so crunk. And I had to learn on this path. The mother had to say, whoa, learn to sit your ass down. And I started out meditating with 1 minute. And when I tell people that, they laugh. I said 1 minute is an eternity to somebody with bipolar because we wake up crunk, And so now I can meditate for 2, 3 hours if I wanted to. I only meditate for about 10, 20 minutes, but it takes practice because
Mhm.
it's a lot with the outside world going on, politics and social media and so much things. And we have to take time to just tap in with self because people don't understand you have a higher self and you have a lower self. And you need to have time to just sit with self and see
Mhm.
what comes to you.
Yes, yes. Speaking on I have a background in the medical field, and I am so adamant about mental health
Yeah.
and having light shined on the area of mental health. And you speak of your mental health
Diagnosis. Yeah.
diagnosis. So these are actual diagnoses that you've been diagnosed with.
Yeah.
So when we talk about and I'm sure a lot of people watching can relate to what you're saying. And I want to personally say that we need to destigmatize,
Oh, yes.
okay, these conditions, because look at the world in which we live. Most people probably are walking around with something that they have not been
Yeah,
diagnosed with.
yeah.
And I think that the condition to which this world has been functioning contributes to one's mental health.
Oh,
So, would you say that practice in meditation has alleviated some of your symptoms related to your um your diagnoses?
somewhat, not all,
Hmm.
I'll be back in just 1 second.
Yes, ma'am. No
Okay.
problem.
Yeah. I'm in, what are you doing?
So while we wait for the priestess to come back, ladies and gentlemen, it is so important. I want to say just quickly to the people who are viewing this, who do have potentially any, diagnoses in the area of mental health, that you are loved, you are appreciated, and do not let these labels define you. Okay, and take care of yourself always. Take care of
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm
Okay.
back.
All
Yeah.
right. She's back.
And
Let's
one
get.
of the reasons, we're talking about mental health, and I went and I got my little, bupropion, XL 300 milligram, and I got my ATOMOXETINE, atomomoxine or whatever, 40 milligrams.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I am also a former healthcare worker. I was an LPN for a few years.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And I am a firm believer in taking care of your mental health. And like you say, destigmatizing it, because, like you said, look at the planet we live on. And
Right.
who does not have some type of mental health? And there is no shame in mental health,
Right.
because the human is not perfect. Look at the planet, from the Babylonians, the Sumerians, the Phoenician, the Kemet, the wars that has been fought on this planet,
Yes.
and the energy that is in this planet, because
Yes.
energy never dies.
Yes.
And, it is just so much negative energy, and it affects us. And so, that's why, people like myself, I'm wearing, the copper with the hematite, you know what I'm saying? Um, Black obsidian tourmaline. Listen, I got to stay strapped out in these streets. You
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, we have to take care of our mental health. And one of the things is we have to heal. Because, see, like I tell people, healing is consensual. She's not going to fight you and wrestle you down
Right.
to the ground. You have to heal and
Yep.
let stuff, because, okay, Erica Badu has a song, Bag Lady, where are you going with all them bags? Okay, something happened to you. I get a trauma happened to you when you was a child or a teenager, but now you're like 40 years old. Why are you still carrying that around?
Right.
Because that
Right.
creates blockages and obstacles in your path, and even to your emotional health, because we can heal. As long as we're alive, we have the ability to heal if we want to. It's
Right.
conceptual.
Right. I agree with that 100%. I think that the divine, I like to refer to, higher realms and
Oh,
dimensions as the
yes.
divine. And I think that the divine is always willing to reach an individual, but it requires that individual's willingness to be reached. And then there's also prerequisites that are required for you to get higher and higher when it comes to your spirituality. And one of those prerequisites is healing, doing that deep
Yes.
dive, that deep digging. And it's uncomfortable sometimes, being someone who's gone through the process, it can be very uncomfortable. I'm a single woman, so, then doing it, single woman, no children. So doing it, but, dolo, solo, can also be a lot. But once you get over that hump, it is a wonderful, wonderful field of glory on the other side of it. So it's very worth it to go through
And,
the process of healing.
and I'm
Hmm.
single as well. My most unhappiest time has been when I was married, because unfortunately, a lot of males don't choose to heal, and they just bring the last. I probably shouldn't say this, but yeah, Whitney Houston has a song. She'd rather be happy by herself than be unhappy with somebody. And it's just, I look at so many of my sister friends in such unhappy relationships, and I I can't do it anymore. I don't have any more energy to expend in that realm. It's now for me. I've raised 5 children by myself, and it's like I don't have that energy, because I am open to somebody if they are healed
Right.
and
Right.
got themselves together, then fine. But any unhealed, no. Yeah.
What do you think I think that a lot of the reason why us ladies, us wonderful feminines, we sometimes settle for the unhealed man and so on, and situations that are really not supporting our greater good because of that fear of being alone. And it's kind of I think a lot of women unfortunately would rather have like the perception of companionship with anyone than to be alone, or what they perceive as being alone. Because it's my belief that we're never alone. We're always
No.
surrounded by our, ancestors, benevolent beings that, are always surrounding us. So we're never truly alone, but a lot of people can't see it that way because it's not in the physical. But what do you think the reason why women today will settle for a guy who's unhealed? Because there's so many women out there that are in situations that they know good and daggone well they should not be in,
Yeah.
but they do it anyway.
Yeah.
What would you say the reason for that is, in your view?
Well, one of the reasons is lack of education of who we, the divine feminine. And this has nothing to do with racism. I'm not a racist. But the first species placed on this planet was the Black woman. We are literally the mother of everybody. And planet Earth was a matriarchal system. No, I'm not a man hating lesbian, because my sons are my favorite children. Because all my daughters, we've gotten into dust ups, cops had to be called. I don't know why it is like
No,
that, but
no,
it's like I'm here to
we
take
love,
the
yes,
throne.
we love all good people over here, and we
Yes,
love
we
the
love
guys.
all
We
good
love we love
people.
we love and
Yeah,
we love the divine masculines. We love the
yeah, and we
divine
love the
masculines
divine.
over
Oh,
here.
I love the
Yes.
divine masculine. But what Mother Earth originally was a matriarchal planet, and women were created to rule. Men were created to protect and serve. But I guess when they heard serve, they must have thought, oh, you want me to kiss your rusty feet? No, that wasn't what it was. You are the protectors of this planet. And they went to war with the divine matriarchy, with Tiamat, Murdoch, and all of them went to war, and they overthrew. And marriage is even a construct of patriarchy. You know what I'm
How
saying?
so? How so? How would you explain
Because
that to the
when
people?
women were created to rule, we never got married. We had kingdoms, and we chose to have children, and we had our handmaidens and stuff. Marriage, it's like a man wanted a maid, somebody
Hmm.
to cook his food, breed his
Hmm.
children,
And take his last name too,
and take
right?
his last name. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so
Hmm.
that was even a construct of patriarchy. And when you look at when men overthrew, and men are the infant species, they are the youngest species. And when they overthrew us, look at the planet today. Who's waging all the wars? Got the gangs, the cartels. And it's like, aren't y'all tired? Because a while back I tapped in with the primordial mothers, and just looking, and mother was looking like Black Collie, was just screaming. And one of the things she said, that men should have evolved beyond wars. They've been fighting wars for centuries.
Yeah.
At what point? You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of women don't understand that it's nothing wrong with being by yourself. Like you said, you're never alone. Like, this whole room is filled with beings. We just can't see them.
Right.
And so when you take the time, one of the things that came down from the mother was to worship yourself. When you take the time to nourish yourself, worship yourself, go get your nails done, get your toes done, get your hair done, go get a massage. How many women go and get a massage, or a Reiki tune up? There are things. What are your passions? Do you like art? Do you like writing poetry? You know what I'm saying? It's
Yes.
not about, because if you cannot have a mate that is whole and healed, why would you even do that to yourself just not to be alone? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's also destroying you, taking away from you, and causing health issues, because now you got high blood pressure. You might end up developing like ulcers, even
Mm-hmm.
cancer behind this. And I just,
Yeah, stress can cause a multitude
yeah,
of ailments that we do not want. If we can help it, we don't want it.
yeah,
So peace is important. I look at people have been talking a lot about dimensions, 3D, 5D, 7, all of
yes,
those things. And a lot of people are in the 3D, and the 3D is primarily a survival paradigm.
it is.
So in within that survival paradigm, when we're discussing consciousness, in the survival paradigm, there's things like fear, shame, guilt,
Yes,
all of blame, all of those emotions are lower frequency emotions that are within that 3D. And so our goal is to transcend, those emotions, and doing that inner work so that we can get to higher frequencies and vibration. But I think that a lot of people really don't get that we are actually energy,
yes,
because they've misled us as a collective of who we actually are, what it is that we're
right,
living in,
right,
who we are, and if we can understand and overstand that we are energy, first and foremost, then we would then get how important it is about who we have around us, what we're listening to, what we're watching, because all of those things are bringing frequencies and vibrations to you, which is
yes,
directly connected to energy, which is what we are, you know.
yes,
So the goal for the people is to get to higher vibrations and higher frequencies, and you can't do that if you're hanging around someone who's unhealed, because now
right,
you're around them and their energy is lower vibration, and then you have your energy that might be good, it might be high, but now you're around someone whose energy is lower. Now that's going to pull you down,
right.
and that's going to cause an imbalance in self.
And it's okay if they're not healed, but you just have to do that over there, because I cannot do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? And once people, it's like a while back, I met a brother and I said, Hotep God. And he said, they're calling me a God and I'm homeless. I'm like, you're still a God. You're just homeless. And once we realize who we are, we don't have to be perfect. This is why I am very open about my mental illness, because even though, and I'm not bragging on my skills, even though I'm the bomb ass spiritualist, you know what I'm saying, an occultist, I am
Hmm.
bipolar. I'm still human. And I still have these things that I deal with. And, there is no shame or stigma for me. You know what I'm
And
saying?
there shouldn't be,
Yeah.
and there
And I
shouldn't
tell
be.
people I shop at Walmart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
Amazon. I shop
yeah,
Amazon over
yeah.
here.
So,
$10
hey,
shirts,
look,
$15 shirts. I'm not going above.
exactly. Yeah. And so this, because when you are at a certain level spiritually, like I was watching something yesterday, Mama T, and she had like three different sisters, and these are all powerful sisters, tarot readers, diviners, and stuff. And it was like, wow, I really enjoyed this show. When you are on that level, there's no room for jealousy, envy, or any of that,
Right.
because you have your own, you've cultivated your own power, your own stuff. You are solidified in who you are. Why would I be jealous or envious of somebody else? Those are lower
Mhm.
level frequency.
Yes.
And we are in a process of evolving. Now, there are some that are clinging to the old paradigm, because the earth is true. She has gone through a massive transformation. This is not the same earth as 3 years ago. Everything looks the same, but it's vastly different. And we are evolving as humans, as we should. But there are
Hmm.
those who want to cling because, you know, minimum wage. war. You have like 3% ruling over 97%, and all the
Right.
greed, and they want to keep everybody, in fear and just struggling and fighting. And honestly, we're tired of that.
Yes, yes, and we should be tired of it. And
Yeah,
it's time
we
to
are
move
tired
on.
of
The
that. Yeah.
all ages and cycles have to turn. They have to change. And
Mhm.
there's a little bit of an arrogance some of us may have as humans, to where we think that the buck stops here. Like where we
Yeah.
are is that's it. No. No, as we learned in school, even though the stories they told us in history were half lies, 90%
Right,
lies,
right.
but we did one thing that was true, is the different ages and cycles that have been in throughout history. And this is no different. It's not going to just stop here. It's going to continue. So we are changing into another cycle, another age, that is going to be more geared towards the feminine side, the balance of the feminine side. Um, Speaking of the divine feminine,
Yeah.
there has been, I think, an intentional removal of the divine feminine when we're discussing creation, when we're discussing the most high. I mean, most people, when
Yeah.
they say their prayers, it's our Father who art in heaven,
Mhm.
hallowed be thy name. And it's like, well, if it's as above so below, then how is it our Father and no mention of a mother? And
Yeah.
then oftentimes when we're looking at the women that are mentioned in the ancient texts, I like to call them, there's always a negative connotation associated with them. Even
Right.
ISIS, what they did with the name of ISIS, they associated with a terrorist organization. So there's always a negative
Imagine.
connotation. Say again.
I said, can you imagine?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so that the negative connotations that are always, Mary Magdalene was, looked at in a negative light, when,
Right.
all of the various women, anytime there's a mention of even Babylon, when they speak about Babylon in the Bible, they refer to it as a her.
Yeah.
It's a fit, like, in Babylon, it's supposed to be like the bad, area and place or
Yeah.
whatever. So, why do you think there was this intentional removal of the divine feminine when we're talking about creation? And what impact do you think that has caused?
Well, the intentional removal was for man to put himself in the place of the divine. It's ego driven. And just this wonderful planet, everything in it he wanted to be the one to say he created. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And the impact that has had on us is to have had everything removed and to be the lower being. Not that he's lower, but it's now we have to relegate ourselves to this male energy. When we are an open portal, life comes here and reside in us that we birth out. And at one point, we used to reproduce through parthenogenesis. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, at the end of the day, everything was just taken. And, it's to make the woman feel less than, like you said, like ISIS, her name has been synonymous with terror, and even Mary Magdalene, the whore, and all of this, and to put you at a spot where you don't deserve respect, you don't deserve, loyalty, to
Mm-hmm.
make these infant beings feel like, because at the end of the day, it's all ego. It's
Yeah,
just ego.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah. When we talk about, I agree. I agree. When we talk about um, the removal of the divine feminine, I think that in the reasons, which I agree with your reasons, I think that another um, domino effect that has occurred because of the removal is that women, I think we're getting better now, but women have unfortunately lost the importance of sisterhood. So, like when you talked about a little bit before how you watched the show and there was like, all these women, they were talking, there was no jealousy, no envy, which is beautiful to see, especially amongst us. It's beautiful to
yeah.
see that, but there are so many women who are fighting against each other for the pleasures of men, for the affections of men. Like you'll have women who'll stab each other in the back just to get to the guy, or it may not even be a guy involved, it might just be the woman just doesn't like this woman for whatever reason. And so I think that us as women, we have lost the importance of sisterhood and that womanhood circle. And I think that that was another outcome of removing our part in creation and how important we are as the divine feminine. What would you say about that and the importance of sisterhood and women just having, because they say the bro code, like guys have a bro code and they stick to it. You know what I mean? Like one guy will be out with some other guy, and he'll be married, and the guy go cheat in front of him. He won't say a word, ever, no matter what. And that's their bro code. But I feel like women, we don't have that same, not that we should be lying, I'm not
Right.
saying
I
be,
know what you mean. Yeah.
but
Right.
we don't have that same code amongst each other. And I think that we really need to build that back up, the importance
Yeah.
of womanhood. So what would you say about the importance of womanhood, sisterhood in history and antiquity and today?
Well, it was done purposely to turn us against each other. You know what I'm saying? It was done to make us, go against each other. But we have to come back into a sisterhood, because even sisters that I was a part of their circle and I ended up leaving, you know what I'm saying? I'm still friends with them. I have no ill will, It's just I didn't want to be underneath a like, take for instance Ifa. I didn't want to be part of a house anymore. I didn't want a priest ruling over my head or feel like I have a priestess over my head. I want to be my own thing. And so, women have to understand there is no competition. But again, it's maturity, and it's in confidence, self-confidence in yourself. Because if you are confident in yourself and you know who you are, there's no need for jealousy, envy. And I believe a lot of it is maturity.
Yeah.
It really is maturity, because honestly, I'm almost 60 years old. I wouldn't want to meet my 20, 30-year-old self. I'd be clutching my invisible pearls like, who is this lunatic? And honestly, the Egyptians didn't consider us adults till we were in our 40s. And I honestly felt like I stepped into my full adulthood at 44, when it was like, I feel like an adult now. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it is immaturity, a lack of self-confidence, and yeah, because when you look at, oh my goddess, the culture today, the unsexy reds,
Oh my goodness. What is that about?
yeah,
What is that about?
it's just for the younger generation to further, degenerate themselves, if that's even a word. And it's just like, no, that's not who we are. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And so, this culture of, this jealousy and envy, it was something that was bred in us, and at large, we're the only ones that can change it. We first have to love ourselves, because when you love yourself, you can love others. When you are secure within yourself, like, look how many diviners on YouTube. Why would I be envious of another diviner? Can I divine for the entire planet? You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
And it's up to us to change it. Like you said, the bro code have a bro code that they stick to, and we don't have one. There's some of us that have some. There's some of us that have that, the more mature ones. But it's up to the rest. They have to come into their own maturity and education when they realize that you are a goddess. That's why I call every woman a goddess. I remember pulling up to like some fast food place or some coffee place where they sell coffee, and I called the woman a goddess, and she was ready to leap through the window and fight me. Don't call me a goddess. I'm not a goddess. What are you talking about? Whoa, wait a minute, sister. Calm your tits. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she was ready to fight because I called her a goddess. And
That's
just
amazing.
that level of uneducation and ignorance is like, whoa. And I not experienced that. I wouldn't even have known that that existed. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what it is because women don't truly know who they are. Because if they studied goddess mysteries, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Look at your ancestors, Set, Hathor, Sekhmet,
Mhm.
Bast, Tiamat, Arishkagal, Inanna. You'd
Yes.
be pinching your nipples. You'd be pinching your nipples because this is who you are.
Yes.
And just the fact that you are this divine being, the first being placed on the planet that can give life, if you choose to, because I've already put in my next incarnation, no kids. I'm still tired. You know what I'm saying? So if you choose to, that just the fact that you're a divine feminine and an open portal, you have a womb that can sustain life from another realm, that comes from another realm, whether Sirius B, A, Orion, or whatever, you are a portal to the divine feminine. This entire earth is feminine, cosmic, universal, celestial. It's all feminine. And
Yes.
you are a part of that. You are a portal. Do you know how special you are? And not to say men
Mhm.
are not special, because I love my divine masculine, but
Yes.
the
Yes.
divine feminine, if you are the mother of creation. And when you know that and you walk in that frequency, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's because
Mhm.
they don't know who they are. And this is why they fight amongst each other. Because when I go out in public and I see all my sisters, I give, you know what I'm saying? And Hotep goddess, and you understand? It's
Mhm.
the
Yes.
women that don't know who they are. So it starts with education. They have to know who they are, that they are that goddess.
Yes. And I think that it's an agenda that they have put into place. I know a lot of people, for example, who do music, who are great artists, but they can't seem to get through the doors.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have this freaking sexy, whatever she's calling herself, talking about
Unsexy red.
just pure,
Yeah.
pure nonsense is what it is.
Fuckery.
I
Fuckery.
just want to say I denounce
Yes.
all of that filth.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that they put it on the radio
Mm-hmm.
to lower our frequency. Because
And
I
it's to
believe
lower the
as you
frequency. Yeah.
yeah, and these are spells. You're listening
Yeah. There's
to
spells.
these
Mm-hmm.
spells of these people saying all this stuff, and that's why you could be in your car driving and the radio's on. So I don't drive with no radio on. You drive with the radio on, and you hear music playing, and then you get out your car and go somewhere, and then next thing you know, you're singing the song that was just on the radio, and you weren't even trying to remember the song. You weren't even
Right.
trying to. It was just playing in the background, but it's sunk into your subconscious. That's what happened just by way of it playing in your presence. And this is why the gatekeepers of the industry have done it this way. They are the gatekeepers for a reason, and they're standing at the gate basically waiting to see who's going to be okay with putting mass spells on the public that are not for their benefit.
Right.
And that's what these people are doing. They're raising their hand and volunteering to say, hey, you know what, I'm okay with going out and putting this filth out there to my people. And it's not going to benefit them. All it's going to do is cause more animosity for one person from one person to another. It's going to encourage them
Yeah.
to be hypersexualized. It's going to encourage them to kill each other. It's going
Yeah.
to encourage them to be consumed with materialism that doesn't matter. These artists are talking about all sorts of brands that don't even care about you. You know,
Yeah.
promoting brands of people who are demonic,
Yeah.
quite frankly,
Yeah.
and they're wearing them on their chest, and you're basically praising these demons is what you're doing when you wear these things on your body,
Mm-hmm.
and these people are okay with it. So I think that it's a shame that not only that the industry is the way that it is when we're talking about music, but also that there are people who are actually volunteering, because that they're volunteering to participate, in it. So I just want to say I denounce it. I don't listen to it. And I recommend everybody watching this
And I
go
denounce
cleanse
it as
your,
well. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I recommend you go look at your playlist, people, beautiful people, look at your playlist and really think about what you're listening to. And
Yeah, that
is
are
it for
spells that are being
right?
put in your frequency. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
lowers your shield, because we have to remember we have a shield that encompasses our entire body. And when we are in a state of negativity, fear, all of these things lowers your shield. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And
Yep.
so we have to become educated about these things. But again, not everyone is going to wake up in this lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Because some people will have to come back and do this over again. And so it's not meant for all of us to be awake at this time. This is why, people like you and me, we are here to help to raise the consciousness of the collective,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because we are divine, we are divine beings.
Mm-hmm. So when you say wake up in this lifetime, for the people who may not get what that means, so let's say someone first, what do you mean when you say wake up in this lifetime? I get what you mean, but I want the people to get it. And then also, if one doesn't wake up in this lifetime, then what happens, next? If once they, pass on and, what happens if a person doesn't wake up in this lifetime? So that's a two-part question. What does it mean to be awakened? And then what happens if a person doesn't awaken in this lifetime?
Yeah. Well, what it means to be awakened is to be spiritually conscious, vibrating on a frequency of just love and harmony. Now don't get it twisted. I'm as loving as peaceful as they come, but you come for me, yo, you catch these hands real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because there is a polarity, a balance,
Mm-hmm.
because we were taught love your oppressor and bless your enemies, bless those who curse you. No, you know what I'm saying? And there are many lifetimes, because I used to do Akashic Records readings. And every now and then I may do one for somebody who really wants it. And when you tap in, you see people have had many lifetimes
Yep.
where I've read for people where I'm like, oh, you were a Kemetic priest in your one of your past life, because I see you in the temple of Anubis and you're doing mummification rites over a pharaoh. And some people I'll even get their spiritual names and
Mm-hmm.
give it to them. And so we've had many lifetimes where in a past life you might have been somebody that you may have been a housekeeper, you may have been a nursemaid for a rich person, or you may have been very wealthy. And so you are going to come back and do it again if you don't get it in this lifetime, because we are still ascending and we are going to get to a higher frequency than we are now, like 100 years from now. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? 200 years from now, there'll be even a point, we'll ascend to the point where, we can go to other planets, other realms, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so if you don't get it in this lifetime, all that happens is you come back and do it again.
And then when you come back and do it again, do you have a better chance of getting it the next time? So basically,
Yeah.
you come back and then you come back and you come back, do your chances get better every time you come back to
Yeah,
get it?
your chances get better because you become a little bit more evolved. You know
Got
what
it.
I'm saying? Because if you
Mhm.
live to be old, you know, you'll look back on your younger years and clutch your pearls, if you have matured, you know? And so, but you are at a point where you've done all of this and you are now at the point where it's time for you to transcend, because death is a initiation, life is an initiation. And so now you're getting ready to be initiated into the other realm, you know, and you will come back again at a higher level, a higher frequency, because it's like, oh, I get it now, but it's too late now. So now you come back, because
Mhm.
this is also a process of evolution. Because when you even look in your natal chart and you look in your Saturn can give you an indication to even your past life, because Saturn deals with like the past life, deals with the lessons you are here to master in this life.
Mhm.
And we've had many lifetimes.
Yeah,
You know?
I did a meditation and I saw a past life I had and I was a witch and I was hung. I was hung.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't and I was like, wow, you know, and I laughed after I came out of the meditation and I had told someone about it. They were like, why are you laughing about it? I was like, well, it's just because now I know what life, like I realize what this is, you know, I realize
yeah.
what the process is, you know. And so once you get kind of what life is about and what death is about, you can like be like, oh wow, that's funny. Okay, so here, you know, here I am again. Okay, let's try it again, you know, and you know, I'm
Yeah.
here again for a reason, you know, and you know, it's just it's an amazing journey, you know, when you begin to look into these things, you know.
And I had that, not to cut you, I had that exact same past life where I was also hung for being a witch. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I was burned at the stake, you know? And even my mother, I look at her, she's one of the most powerful witch, but she is thoroughly hopped up on white Jesus juice. And I'm like, she'll just
Oh
come back
man.
here and do it again. She'll, you know, come back and be spiritual as opposed to being, you know, so religious,
Yeah. I
you
think
know?
that religion,
Yeah.
speaking of religion, organized religion, and I think a lot of people who are spiritualists started out in organized religion. A lot of us
Oh
did.
yeah. Oh
Maybe not every
yeah.
single one, but I know I did. I was raised in a Christian church. You know, we didn't go every Sunday or anything, but I was definitely raised Christian. And I remembered, you know, being in the church and hearing the stories, and I would always see a male in front of me talking for one. And then hearing the stories, I didn't hear myself. I didn't hear
Yeah.
myself. And I felt as a young girl, even up into my womanhood growing up, I always felt like, well, dang, does the Most High love me the same way that the Most High loves
Right.
men? Because you know, you hear all these fantastic stories about, you know, the guys of the ancient texts and how they did this and did this, and I'm like, well, dang, did the Most High never speak to women? You know, did the Most High never, you know? So that's how I always felt. So I could never really ground myself in Christianity, but it did start there, you know, and I went through the Bible and I found I think that you can find clues and signs in all the ancient texts. You know, that's my belief. But I think that those should be secondary to your personal relationship with the divine. It should be a personal relationship first and foremost. Then you could circle back and look at the rest of the text and stuff like that. But it's not by accident that they from the womb they try to indoctrinate you into some sort of organized religion. And
Yeah.
organized religion, in my view, caps an individual off when it comes to reaching higher realms of spirituality and actually tapping in with the ancestors, tapping in with source, tapping in with the various light beings that exist and dwell in the different realms and dimensions. You can't do that if you are capping yourself off with any label. And that includes a label of religion. And so, if you're, you know, because the universe will give you everything up to that point. So if you're a Christian, the Most High will give. I'm like, all right, fine. You want to be a Christian? No problem. I'm gonna give you it because the Most High loves you regardless of what you think about, right? So if you say I'm a Christian, the Most High will be like, okay, fine. I'll give you everything that I can give you up to that point, and then you'll be capped right there. But once you take that lid off of the label, the title, then you'll get all the stuff, more stuff, more stuff, more stuff. You know, if that makes sense,
Yeah, it
you know.
does.
hmm Yeah, so I think that organized religion is very, it was done so that it could, you know, handicap us, you know,
Yeah.
spiritually, you know, and take away a lot of the gifts. And then also the Bible and Christianity, particularly, it condemns a lot of our rituals that we do, a lot of the things that we do spiritually. Like, you know, if you let a Christian person tell you, they'll say you can't use sage, you're not supposed to be using no incense, you're not supposed to be using, you know, all these things, which I personally use regularly, you know. And
Yeah.
you know, I always see you light up an incense any chance you get, you know. So it's like I think that they've intentionally put these things in here to rob us, to try to, because they can try, but they're not going to succeed, but to
That's
try
right.
to rob us of our true spirituality and our true connection to the
Yeah.
divine.
And when you go back, you know, there's a book written by, I think, a woman, Mama Zogbe, the Sibyls. And the Sibyls were a bunch of priestesses in Rome. Women actually wrote the Bible and all these holy books that were hijacked by patriarchy, and we were removed. And the stuff that they put in, because if you look, Christianity, the first thing was to handcuff you, love your oppressor. You know what I'm saying? Bless those who curse you. Can you imagine the utter insanity? And so, everything was done, first of all, to spiritually handicap you and demonize spirituality. Like you said, burning sage or anything, it's demonic, and so that was so that can be the guiding, organization that governs everyone. But it was so limiting. And for some of us like you, I just couldn't ride with that, because I went to church a few times. It's like, where's the divine feminine? Even as a
Right.
little girl, it was always in me. Like, it's something in me that rebelled against that. It just did not feel right to me, you know?
Hmm.
And so, this is just what it is, because they're like these infants, supplanted themselves in our position.
When you
And
say when you say the infant, you're talking about the males. You're talking
the
about, right.
males, yeah,
Mhm.
the infant males, because they were the last species that were created, and the younger species. And when you look around at the planet today, who is raising most of the hell on the planet? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And even with their Bible, all the stuff that they, put in the Bible, why don't you have peace? Why don't we have harmony?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, and it's, again, we emphasize that we, for the lovely male men watching, we love the divine masculine, but we have to, in this age of truth, in this, we have to just tell, you have to be honest across the board. And honestly speaking, everything the priestess just said is absolutely correct, because if you look at the world, ask yourself who is running it primarily. Of course, there's little pockets where women run things, maybe little pockets here and there, but I'm talking about like the collective. Who's
On a
running
grand
it?
scale. Yeah. And when you
You
look
know?
at some of these divine masculine that are healed and whole, they are not like your average male, but they're
No.
few and far in between. And let me tell you something. The mother is going to cull a lot of males from the planet. There is a part in the Bible where it says, and in the last days, which is the end of patriarchy, several women shall take hold of one man. Now, why would that be? You
Because
understand?
there ain't gonna be too many good ones.
Yeah, yeah. And so, when you look at how, the wars that are being fought, how many males are dying, the gang warfare and all of this, you know, there
Hmm.
there's going to be a large number of them taken off the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's what it is.
So what would you say about the guys who under the guise of perhaps being Muslim or being some sort of African-based spiritualist. They basically, I'm saying there's some guys who exist who are like, okay, I'm going to have more than one wife. I'm going to have all these wives, and these guys are not even, they're not even healed, and some of them are able to pull it off, and
Yeah.
get more than one woman, but again, that circles back to what we were discussing before about how a lot of women will settle instead of being
Both settled.
alone.
Yeah.
But what would you say to this whole, because I saw a little trend of that, before, where guys were pushing the ideology of men having more than one woman, when I personally don't even think a lot of these guys can't even handle one properly, let alone a whole realm of them, you know. What would you say about those guys?
Well, you are always, and pardon my French, you are always going to have fuckery on this planet.
Hmm.
There will always be those types of males. But the only reason they could get away with it is because of the women.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't
Yep.
roll up on a woman like me with that fuckery, because I
No.
remember back in the day, I had a babalao, and this dude, he had like three wives, and he was looking at me, wink, wink. The oracle said I can have more wives. And I remember being in the kitchen because I was part of their little elay. And I was in the kitchen washing dishes with his wife, and she was so pissed. She was like, he can't even handle one wife, let alone talking about he want more wives. And he had three wives, you know? And a lot of men get into this, and it's just to take advantage of women. But again, the women are unhealed.
Yep.
They don't know who they are. They don't know their power as a divine feminine. Because let me tell you something, how powerful we are. It could take only three of us to go out into the woods, circle a
Yep.
tree, hold hands, bow our heads, do some shamalama ding dong, and we can cause tornadoes and earthquake. If we
I say we start getting together and doing that. Because when I tell
listen,
you,
I'm telling,
when I
listen, I was busting down some fools with my Solomon keys, and another fool ran across my mind that did some equally reckless stuff. And all I said was, F that mofo. They can catch these spiritual hands and drop dead. Well, guess who dropped dead the same night? In the same hour, I might add. The rage that was conjured, if we knew, that's why we have a Kalima and a segment. You
right,
understand? And
right.
it's the polarity when Mother Earth gets pissed and there is violent tornadoes and violent earthquakes. And even you look at the fires in California, when I first tapped in, I saw arson because I did see, somebody there. And, but look at how that just spread, and when you tap in, it's almost like an anger, and there's something going on the planet. Because yesterday I was outside and doing a little ancestral veneration. I lit a little fire, some ancestral money, and it fell down, and the whole backyard was ready to go up in flame. I had to run and get some water, and it was like, whoa. So it's the frequency, the energy. And the day that women realize how truly powerful, because this is what they are scared of.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Mm-hmm.
why so much is done to keep them down, and they bring out in front the unsexy reds and the people to cast the spells and all these filth for the younger girl, because when they're in that mindset, they can't rise.
Yes.
And when you
Yes.
rise into your full divine feminine and realize just how powerful, we ain't even got to do nothing. You can just, a glance can do some
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mentioned going around in the forest and around the trees and stuff. I've always been an avid nature lover. I pray when I do my conversations with the divine. I always ask that the earth be healed, and a part of what I
Yes.
ask for, and that the frequency of this earth be elevated to a frequency that's in line with the divine. Because this earth is absolutely beautiful, it's gorgeous, and the earth represents the divine feminine. The trees, the plants, all of these, in my view, how I see it, and the elements of this earth.
Yeah.
And one thing I recognized on my journey, and I go into the forest all the time. Like, I always go into the forest. I go into, just I love sitting in nature. So I do most days. I'll go into, I don't care how cold it is, how hot it is. I go get into some nature. And what I recognize is that, this, corrupt system, they block off a lot of forests. In my area, particularly where I am, like, as I try to find forests to go into and stuff, it'll say a fence and it'll say government property, no trespassing, and it's just forest, and I
Okay.
recognize that I believe they do that because they
Yeah.
know how we connect in that
Yeah.
forest, how we
Yeah.
connect to nature, and in my area particularly, a lot of the forest areas are fenced off, government, U.S. government property. For what? Why? Why are you blocking off this word? But it's
Yeah.
because they recognize, and this is also why they have weather manipulation, because they recognize how important it is for us to be connected to nature, and how we can get signs and information from the clouds, from the sun, without it being manipulated by them. So why else would they have developed these weather manipulation plans, doing all these contrails and chemtrails in our sky, trying to block out the sun, and all these things that like yesterday. Well, it was a portal day, like, you actually had mentioned it to me when we spoke on the phone, that it was a portal day yesterday. And I thank you for reminding me of that, by the way. But when I tell you, I recorded it. When I tell you I was outside looking at the sky, looking at the sun. These people were going so hard yesterday with the chemtrails and the contrails in the sky, specifically over the sun. I recorded it. I recorded the whole thing. The sky went from a beautiful, clear day, and here they come with the planes trying to go over the sky, over the sun. So they block off the forest. They try to go and create all these, the HARP system, which is the weather manipulation system, which they reverse engineered some stuff from. Anyway, this
Right.
is
I know. Yeah. Yeah. And they're
this is
certain. Mm-hmm.
right. This is intentional because they recognize that us as original people, as in, as how important it is, especially for the divine feminine, to be in nature and to be connected to nature. So they block it off and call it, government property or whatever, which I ignore. But, do it
But you know
anyway.
what? They're not going to be able to stop because you can't, humanity is already evolving and you cannot stop what is preordained, what is destined, because you
Right.
are a lowly human. You think you're gonna come on this planet and you're gonna stop something? You can do all your little chemtrail. That's not gonna matter because we are going to evolve to even tolerate that. Because where it's at now, we are in the age of Aquarius, and this is the age of air. This is the age of Heka, just speaking things into existence. And this is where the mother said, we now have to get in. We, the spiritualists, to speak like, let the frequency on this planet be so it no longer supports those who are, on the frequency of hatred, of war. Remove the warmongers and their allies. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Yeah. Those
Yep.
that are in opposition to love and harmony and peace and equality, let the frequency be that it no longer supports them. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying?
Yep.
And
And
we can put that into the ether. They can't block it with their chemtrails.
right.
They they
Right.
they can do everything, and listen, this is what they were put here to do. So they're going to do all their little stuff, but you cannot stop what is already in motion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
listen, and I've
Yeah.
often said, and I've got to stop saying this because they'll come for my ass. Like, I can't wait to die because, honey, I'm coming through the wind. You know what I'm saying? And Sister Death had to tell me, stop calling me because I'll come get your ass. Because I can't wait to get through the wind because their airplanes are going to go down in a wooded area somewhere. Their mega yachts are going to sink in the Mediterranean. You know what I'm saying? Your car is going to be steered off of a cliff. You understand? Because as in life, so in death. Let me tell you, when we, the evolved ones, transition, oh, we're going to be some bad mama jammas on the other side. Because listen, we ain't going to be one of the intranquil spirits still sitting there pissed off and I didn't get to do this or, no, we going, yo, catch these hands. You understand what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so I just love it because it's so beautiful what's in store for us on the other side and even what's here. And this is what the mother said, get in it and just speak on it. Like I said, we ain't got to, hold no protest or nothing. When it says life and death is in the power of the tongue, that shit is real. And
Mm-hmm.
you could just see some foolery because and I'm not a Democrat or Republican because they're all on the same team,
Yeah.
but when you look at the current president that was put in, somebody who had his thugs incited to run down on Capitol Hill and, I think even a cop got shot or something and all the foolery. And then I believe this person was put in, for an agenda and for us to be clutching our pearls, because it's like, oh my God, what did he do now? What did he say now? Who cares? Who
Exactly.
cares? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, all of this, they have a certain time when, they're going to do their thing. These people on the planet. But there is a bigger agenda at play that they cannot even, they cannot even fathom because they're
Mm-hmm.
not even on that frequency. And so we
Hmm.
just sit back, you know what I'm saying? Because this is our
Hmm.
planet and it's like, whatever,
Hmm. I
you
agree.
know?
I agree that there's a ton of distractions that they place in
Yeah,
front of us while there
distractions.
are,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
while
when
there
you
are.
are distracted, you can't tap in.
Hmm.
You can't, connect. Yeah.
Yep. And there's usually when on my channel I made a video around election time discussing like when they came and they start putting all these celebrities up on the stage, like what is this? What is this battle of the who can bring the best celebrity on stage? It was a
Yeah.
joke. And it should have been an insult to every American in this country, really. It should have been an
Yeah.
insult because they've reduced the people of this country to fans is what they've done. And they
Fans.
said,
Yeah.
and they've said, you know what, we don't even got to say nothing. All we got to do is go grab Beyonce or somebody, and then they'll do whatever she
Yeah.
says because they
Yeah.
praise. A lot of people praise these celebrities more than they praise themselves, and
Right.
this idol worshiping. And same thing with the guy that's in there now. People literally idolize this guy, and all of his minions that's working with him. But I agree that they can't stop. As I was sitting there watching them do what they was doing in the sky, I'm just laughing like they can't stop the Almighty. They can't stop the will of the Most High. They can't stop the will. The what's happening, like you said, destiny. This you can't be changed. It can't be changed. And again, the arrogance of them to think that they can is
Yeah.
just laughable.
I
Really,
just, yeah, I just laugh. It's funny to me. Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's truly, truly laughable. So let's talk about the Great Mother,
Yes.
the divine feminine energy, and the relation to the number 666. Let's
Yes.
talk about that.
Yeah. What was revealed to me, the number 666, and when you add it up, it comes up to a nine. You know what I'm saying?
So
And
six plus, so let's break that down. So 6 plus 6 is 12,
right.
plus 6 is 18, which reduces to a 9.
Yes, which reduces to
Correct.
nine. And let me get
Mhm.
mine because I'm in menopause. Yes, 6 plus 6 plus 6, equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. And we're actually in a 9 year with 2025. It comes up to a number nine. Nine is the number of the divine feminine.
Right.
As it's
Divine
six,
feminine, right?
yeah, divine
Feminine.
feminine. Thank you. And so the number six is the number of the mother. It's the number of the mother. And 666 was demonized as it's a demonic number. And what it was, it's the mother in her triple aspect. The number of the universe is 3, 6, and 9. 3 is the maiden, 6 is the mother, 9 is the crone. That's our number, 3, 6, and 9. Even though they try to say, oh, it was done. Nikolai Tesla said, the frequency. No, it's our numbers. And 666 is our number. It's calling mother 3 times. Mother, mother, mother. Okay,
Hmm.
that solidifies that number 18. And you got that number 1 is the sun. You know what I'm saying? And we got the number 8, which deals with Saturn, and the number 9 that deals with all the planets. You understand? And this
Hmm.
is a completed cycle. And when you turn the 666 upside down, 999, you get 27, which is still
Oh,
what?
9.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
these are our frequency, and we have to take those back. We
Mhm.
have to take, because so many of our stuff was demonized. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, now that we are in a 9 year, this is an opportunity to work with the divine feminine because 9 is a number, it's a lot of endings, things coming to an end. And also, the energy of like the light workers. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean light workers in a sense where some namby-pamby, but people that have stepped into their full spiritual energy. I got some things here. Number 9, universal spiritual laws, karma. Karma. Number 9 is karma. Your soul mission, inner wisdom. This is the energy because the number 9 deals with, the south node of the moon, karma, residues of past life. And the number 9, it relates to all the planets. So you think of Jupiter, Venus, Mars, Mercury. You know what I'm saying? The sun and moon and Saturn. There is a lot of energies at play right now where things are coming to an end, and we got the infants desperately trying to hold on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
humanity, it's time for humanity to evolve, because like the mother said, I tapped in a while ago, man, man, should have evolved beyond wars. You've been fighting for centuries. Aren't you tired? The planet is tired. The
Yeah.
people are tired.
Yeah. It's I think that that's wonderful to bring to the forefront that, I like to reiterate on my channel that they have lied. I'm talking about the people who are in these fake positions of power. I'm talking about the people who are creating who are trying to continue a system that only benefits a few while leaving the majority of people to be in a survival paradigm is what I'm talking about. But
Yeah,
they have lied to us about everything from top to bottom.
yeah,
So I always ask the question, do you not think that they would have lied about creation and lied
right.
about the divine and lied about the Most High and who and what we are? Of course they would have. That's the most important thing to lie about,
Yeah, and
you
when you
know?
look at the number 6, connects to above and below. I got some notes here. Reconciliation. It deals with unity, love, perfection, dealing with the intellect, taking responsibility for our choices. You know what I'm saying? And so, this is what the 666 was about. Us connecting to the divine feminine, the
Yeah.
mother in her aspects of motherhood, not the maiden. This is the mother now, where you step in, where you have a responsibility to the collective to help them to awaken, to open their third eye. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? We are now
Yeah.
the mothers that
Mm-hmm.
we are here to help the collective to awaken, because the reality, it's only about 3 or 5% that's running this thing, and they are a minority.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of gatekeepers, and like you said, the celebrities, like, who cares? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah.
Right.
And so now it's for the age of Aquarius is the age of power to the people. This is
Mm-hmm.
for the next 2000 plus years. And
Yeah.
it's for the people to rise now into their consciousness, where we come back into alignment with Mother Earth. We come back into alignment with each other, our higher consciousness, that we will not tolerate wars. Because you spending all this money on the budget for wars, but we still got homelessness. Why is there a minimum wage that can't keep up with the cost of living? Minimum wage, that's legalized modern day slavery.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I'm
Yes, ma'am.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we have to get tired of that. And what it is, you and I, not that we're better than anybody else, but we're already awakened. And we're
Mm-hmm.
just pretty much waiting for the rest because the day that the collective awakens, we ain't got to do nothing. This is
Mm-hmm.
the age of ear. We can speak things into existence, because when
Mm-hmm.
you speak, it goes out on the frequency of ear, and it
Mm-hmm.
goes out into the etheric realm. It goes out, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like seeds planting, and it manifests. This is what
Mm-hmm.
this is what the Egyptian called the Heka, the sacred utterance.
Yeah.
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 And, we have to keep speaking that which we desire, because now that we're in this age, we're in the number 9, a lot of endings. That's why the mother, because normally she tell us stay out of it, but she was like, y'all got to get in on this. And what we got to do now is just start speaking. We ain't got to get on social media and speak and protest. We're gonna no, this has to come to an end. The
Yeah.
frequency cannot support this anymore,
Right.
because we have the ability to shift some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when
Mm-hmm.
we realize just how powerful we are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a wrap. And that's why so much is done to keep us in a lower frequency.
Mm-hmm.
to have us focusing like on material stuff, celebrities, social media. It's disgusting to me to ride down the street and to see somebody driving a big ass 18 wheeler scrolling through social media.
Yeah.
Social
Yeah.
media has turned people into a zombie. I don't even answer my phone
Mm.
when I'm driving. It's ridiculous that I see people driving, scrolling through social media. Are you
Yeah.
friggin' kidding me?
Yeah.
And this is what it is. Because again, that's taking time away from us really tapping in. Because when
Mm-hmm.
we tap in, if we understand how quickly our spiritual gifts get activated, you understand? Because we're in that time now. We're in that
Mm-hmm.
time now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I personally, I've never been big on big about social media. Obviously I have a YouTube, but I
Me
personally haven't.
neither.
I had an Instagram, but even my Instagram that I did have, it was private, and I had like the people that I was following and was following me, I knew them personally. Like I've met them in some capacity, and it was a private page. But even that, I haven't been on Instagram in a long time, and I don't plan on going back because I don't find that it is supporting the greater good of humanity. I really don't. I think that people have gone on these apps, and they come off in a worse mental state than they were when they went on it. And someone like myself who practices mental, strength and fortitude daily, you know, everybody's not doing that. So when they're going on to these apps and they're seeing all of these things, which, by the way, it's not a good example of how anyone is doing in life, by the way. Like people have these 30-second clips of like the best moment of their day, and then they're able to convince people who are following them that this is their whole life, like their whole day
And
is
it's
like this. So it's just an illusion. And people go on and they see this 30-second clip of a moment that looks great. And they're like, oh, well, why don't, and then they fall into depression because they haven't done that, or they don't look like this, or they don't have that. This whole wave of, women going to get these BBLs and whatnot.
yes.
Where did that come from? That
Yeah.
was never. I used to get teased for my. I'm team natural, by the way. Not that I have any issue
Yeah.
with any woman who
Yeah.
chooses
But
to have
still,
surgery. That's their
yeah,
choice.
do
But
you.
right,
But
do you
understand, yeah,
right? But
accept yourself for who you are. The first thing is self-love. You know what
right.
I'm saying? You have these women putting these poisonous things. Like I saw somebody with two fake breasts that look like two giant basketball in their chest. How do you even sleep with that? And with these BBL and all of this, and it's like, why can't we just love and accept ourselves? Because you are beautiful as you are. You are
Mhm.
a divine being. And once you realize that you are this beautiful divine being, and you start to embrace that and walk in that frequency, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It,
Mhm.
it does something. But it's this realm of illusion and artificial and fakeness,
Yeah. Yeah.
because even social media, I wasn't big on social media, but it was a mother that told me, get off your ass and teach. You're a walking encyclopedia of the occult, get out there and teach. So, yeah,
Yeah, there's so I want the women who are watching this, whether you have had, because one thing I will say, not as we're talking about surgery, I personally, like I said, I'm team natural, but meaning I myself have never had any surgery, but I'm
right.
saying that I get fully, like if a woman, for example, has had children, and your body has taken a toll on from having children, then I fully get why you would want to go get, surgery to restore your body. Like, I support that, but I just want the woman watching this to know that you are beautiful how you are,
Yeah,
exactly how you are. You are beautiful, and don't let these apps or these guys convince you otherwise. Okay, you are beautiful exactly how you are. I just want to
exactly
say
how
that.
you are. Listen, I gave birth to five children. I had one C-section. I breastfed all five of them. And I let my titties hang. I got on a bra today, but I done flung away all my bras. I think I got just two left because, on certain times if I'm going somewhere or something, I'm like, okay, let me put on a bra to hold the titties up. I don't care about my stretch marks. You know what I'm saying? I listen, and I have a saying, I'm not here to please hoes on planet Earth. I am not here for that.
Right.
You understand? And
Right.
so it's who I am, because it's not about it's who I am internally, and my spiritual gifts and abilities and the person I've developed. And because, I've had, a life of trauma too in my younger years and stuff, and been through a lot. I mean, look at this mark. One of my first husbands slit my throat when I tried to
Oh
leave.
my
You know what I'm
God.
saying? And I've had several men tried to kill my black ass. And look, that's why I sleep with a gat on my nightstand and a machete. You know what I'm saying? Because you run up, you're going to get done up. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
And I've decided I'm just going to be single for the rest of my life. If I meet somebody and he's great and he got his shit together, then fine. But if I never meet that, I am quite fine to be alone. You know
oh
what
my
I'm
God.
saying? Because I don't know. I have really attracted some crazies. And that was probably when I was probably crazy too. So,
Well,
but at the end of the day, it's just fine. And so now it's like, at this stage, it's all about self-love. Because that's one of the things the mother said: worship you. Make an altar to yourself.
hmm
Get a statue of Auset. I've a altar to myself upstairs, and I got Auset, I got Segment, I got Boss, and I got Hathor, and then I have pictures of me and my daughters, and Waters and Crystal, and every now and then I go and I give honor and I venerate myself. I tell my kids, when I die, y'all ain't even got to venerate me, because I've been venerating myself. That when my time come, however soon or late, I'm like, yes, I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got to do shit, because I've been doing it. As I've been venerating my ancestors, I'm venerating myself. And this is what it is: venerate yourself. Love yourself. I mean, worship yourself. You are a divine being that came here for a purpose. And once you have decoded your spiritual science, because your spiritual science is your astrology and your numerology, it's why you came here. This is your spiritual science. You don't need to be initiated by nobody. The great mother initiated you. You don't need no shade to anybody else. You don't need to go to Africa, spend $20,000, get initiated, sacrificing no damn goats and chickens. What does the mother need with the blood of a goat or the blood of a chicken? You know
hmm
what I'm saying? And, you came here already with your own science. It's just up to
Yeah.
you to decode it. And this is where we come in. That says, hey, look, okay, look at what's in your chart. Look at your numerology and even the day you were born. I'm born on a Sunday. Today is my day. Archangel Michael, or Michelle. You know what I'm saying? Because I turn everything back to the mother. I don't let these hoes be great. So, yeah, you know.
For real, seriously. And I love that. I love that. There's,
Yeah.
it's when you say the importance of speaking, speaking things, and how the divine feminine has the power of speaking and manifesting by way of her, which she says. I like to say that when we talk, you could just place your hand over your throat as you speak, and you can feel the vibration as you're speaking. Literally can feel vibration as
Yeah.
you're speaking. So our words have vibrations. And so, like, for me, when I go sit by the lake or sit by a body of water,
Yes.
I speak into the waters, and let the vibrations of what I speak go into the waters, and some of the things that I speak, for the people, to give people some ideas, is things that can help better humanity. So, like you were saying
Yes.
earlier, how the people who are participating in these nefarious acts,
Mm-hmm.
and crimes against humanity, may they fall swiftly.
Swiftly.
Deeds, may their deeds be met with a block. May they be blocked
Yeah.
at all costs. May their deeds be transmuted into love. May their deeds be transmuted into wealth for the people of the good, and things of this things of that nature.
And
To
that,
give.
I don't mean to cut you, but this is what we exactly need to be doing. Get a cup
hmm
of water and speak into the water. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? And pour it
hmm
out on the ground. It becomes
hmm
like it spreads. And one of the rituals that was given to me by Mother Earth: go down on your knees and just rub the earth, just rub her. I heal, Mother Earth. I heal. And she showed me, like, you do it here and it reverberates out.
hmm
We have
hmm
this power. Yeah, go ahead,
hmm
Ocean. Go ahead.
hmm Yes. And so it's like, it's something that we really, really have the power to do. And it feels so good when you're
Yeah.
doing it. Go hug a tree because all
Yes.
things these are living things. The trees are living, the plants are living,
Yeah.
hug a tree, talk to the tree, tell the trees you love them, that you're connected to them. Things of this nature is really, really powerful. And if we're all doing that as divine feminine energies and the divine masculines, you
Yeah. Go
know,
hug a tree, divine masculine. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And you'll really, really feel better throughout your day. I'm trying to tell you, this grounding stuff that people talk about, there's something to it. There is
Yeah.
something to it. My week will be altered if I don't get in nature personally. Like I have to go get in nature, even if it's just a second. I have to do it personally. I'm just very connected to the earth, particularly. Um, but one of the things you spoke about earlier was how this idea of modern day slavery, and
Yes.
how these there's all of these things put into place to keep people in a survival paradigm. And I
Yes.
agree so much. And that's another thing that I denounce and I speak on daily when I do my communications to the divine. Because people are
Yes.
working Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
If you think about that, there's 7 days in the week. First, time is really they've created all this stuff. But let's just if we're saying the week has 7 days,
Yeah.
they want you to work 5 of them out of
Yeah.
7. That's the
Yeah.
majority of
I
your
went to Chick-fil-A the other day and just asked, what's your starting pay? $8. And think about the hundreds of thousands they make in a day. These greedy corporations. Why is McDonald's still paying people $12 an hour? And I know I talk about McDonald's a lot, but it just burns me up because when I live here in Georgia, when I go through and I go through the drive-through, I'm like, nobody here the pay can afford an apartment. They must be living like 10 people to a 3 bedroom. You know what I'm saying? And it's ridiculous to me while you send in billions to Israel and to the Ukraine when, quite frankly, the mother said this is the reparation money for, Black Americans whose ancestors built this country. Everybody should get a check. You can cut a check for $3 to $5 million, but you're not going to do that. And
if
so
they're
you
Go
and
ahead.
so you keep spending all this money on wars and you give away billions while people are homeless. I saw a white man the other day on the corner and he was just shivering. I went to QT to get some coffee. And I had Amara walk up to him. I gave Amara $20 to give him. And then, I went to McDonald's and I bought him some food and I gave it to him. But just to see that man sitting on the corner and just homeless. My mother worked for 30 years for the government and she retired. She got Tufts health insurance and they won't even pay for some teeth. I got to use my credit card and pay for some teeth for her. How Sway? You know what I'm saying? And this is things this is why they keep us so distracted with celebrity and all of this and with the idiotic music to lower your frequency because you're not really looking around and seeing why does auto insurance cost so much? Why do you need to work 5 days out of the week? Because in some European country, I hear they only work 3 days.
That's more balanced. It's
That's more balanced.
you're off
Yeah,
more days than you're working, you
yeah.
know?
For what?
Mhm.
For what? And now, you're telling remote workers they got to come back in. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mhm.
it's just
They
when
don't
you
want the people to have any peace. None.
no, no, and you work for 40 hours and look at how much
Sunrise to
they take
sunset.
out
What that sounds like?
yeah, yeah,
Sunrise to
slavery,
sunset sounds. Yeah.
slavery. And look how much they take out in taxes. And it's like, it's just so ridiculous to me. And honestly, we're just so tired of this system. Just so tired.
They are misappropriating the funds. Obviously,
Oh,
it's very
yes.
clear misappropriating the funds. They're sending, they can send Israel all this money so they can continue their terrorism. Meanwhile, you have people right here who are struggling and you can't seem to come up with any money. Where I reside, there was just a school shooting of last week. And it breaks my heart every time when I see anything happening with the children because without the children,
Yeah.
we have nothing without the children. And this again, speaking as someone with no children, one of my main objectives is to protect the children.
Yes.
And they've can't seem to come up with the money to or the incentive to get metal detectors in the school or something that will
Yeah.
prevent these children, from having to experience this type of terror. That a
Yeah.
child should never have to experience this type of terror ever. But they came up with $30 million to build a Chinatown in the
Can you
same in the
imagine?
same
Yeah.
in the same town where this school shooting happened.
Yeah.
They can't come up with any money to protect the children, but they can come up with $30 million to
Yeah,
build
they can't come up with
Chinatown.
any money to pay our teachers a decent wage, to pay our nurses, our doctors, the people who work in fast food that work so friggin' hard, you know,
Yes, yes.
but you can build a Chinatown. And when you look at the money going to Israel, when you put an Israeli person, Palestinian, they look like brothers. The same thing with the Russian and the Ukraine. Why are you fighting? Did anybody come out of their mother's womb with a deed that says you own anything? Because you come into the world with nothing, you're going to leave with nothing. And not only that, some of what we see on the news media is manufactured
Yeah,
because they
absolutely.
fighting a war. How do we know? We ain't there. I had somebody I was just talking to, my best friend. And she was talking about one of her friends that just came back from Israel, and she was like, "Oh my God, it was so beautiful." Where the bombs and all this stuff we hear being dropped? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Mhm.
And so this is what it is. This is why, you know, social media is manufactured to keep you distracted.
And to
And
dumb you
once, like,
down, I
yeah,
believe.
and we, like you said, I saw the Canadian minister was just throwing shade on the current toddler in office, and talking about how they got such strict gun control laws. You know what I'm saying? Why don't we have metal detectors in every friggin' school? Why is there always a school shooting?
This it's unacceptable. It's absolutely
Yeah,
unacceptable. And the state that I'm in is open carry. Anyone can, you don't even need a license anymore to
yeah,
have a weapon. Everyone has one. That's why I have several because I have to.
yeah.
Because,
Me too. Me too.
everybody,
Yeah,
so, it's not difficult
and it
to
and
to
it
get a weapon.
And it's so much. You look at the homes being built now for $300,000. They throw up these homes in 2 months, and these homes ain't worth a shit. They're packed wood with the fancy sidings. They make them look pretty in these little Nightmare on Elm Street little subdivision. And what Spirit have said, in the years to come, the people living in those homes are going to have black mold of the lungs because they're going to be disintegrating like microplastic that people are going to be breathing in. And sure enough, I did a reading for a white man who bought a house that was built in 2000. In 2006, his wife went to the hospital with black mold of the lungs because the cheap packed wood. And when you look at the houses, how cheaply built they are, that they just throw up in a couple of months. And they want so much money. I'm like, at what point do we? I'm just wait because we're already ready. We've been ready. We've been ready.
Yeah,
We just
right.
wait for the rest of the people to just wake up. Like, yo, what's up?
Right. And I like to, I when it comes down to the taxes and stuff, we're taxed every which way. And this is what I'm
Yeah,
just mentioning these things so that the people can really begin to wake up and denounce these things.
yeah,
Because we pay taxes every which way. When we open our wallet, you go out to eat, you're paying taxes. You go buy a pack of gum, you're paying taxes. You get paid from your work day, you're paying taxes. No matter which way you slice
everything,
it, you're
everything.
paying taxes.
Mhm.
And then you drive down a road and hit a million potholes. So what are we paying what are we paying
Yeah,
taxes for? And then also, I need the people to really understand and understand that this dollar that they've convinced us to go get, okay, and dedicate the majority of our time to, this is fiat. This is
yeah,
fiat. There's no intrinsic value to this dollar, none whatsoever. You know what does have intrinsic value? Gold, silver, things that come from what? The earth. And what's the
yeah,
intrinsic value? They're backed by the earth. That is the intrinsic value. And this whole idea of this dollar came after they ended the gold standard. And that's where this Federal Reserve came from.
yeah,
Okay. This Federal Reserve is a fluke. It's a fluke. And, if they're going to keep it in play, then we need a live 24-hour feed of them printing this money that they claim that they can't, we're on all this debt, but y'all can come up with money whenever y'all choose to, but then we're
Yeah.
in debt over here. It doesn't make sense. So we need a live feed. We need a live 24/7 feed of the money being printed, cut, all that, allocated, and a live ledger, a public ledger. Since we're paying taxes into a system, we need a live ledger of what y'all doing with the money. When y'all write a check, we should see it.
Yeah.
We should see it.
Yeah.
We should see it, you know? But the whole system is corrupted, and we
Yeah.
need to.
And it is what it is. And we're just waiting for the rest of the people because we've been ready. We've been ready, you know? And it's like the people just have to wake up. And that's why so much is done to keep you distracted, you know, because with this toddler in office now, it's like every minute there's a new drama. And I can't even watch it because it was put there for a purpose. Everything is done for a purpose, you
Yeah.
know? And when you look at this whole system of inequality, where you have like 3 or 5% and these mega wealthy billionaires, you know, and so many homeless people, so many people without health care. Why do I see so many people in Georgia with rotten teeth or no friggin' teeth when
Yeah.
there should be universal health care? You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And according to a country that's supposed to be so wealthy, we're the however a billion people live in here that are being taxed left and right. You buy a pack of gum, you know, for $3, you're paying like almost $1 tax. Everything you're paying taxes on everything. I go online to pay my light bill. I pay a fee, $2.50 to pay my light bill, to pay my gas bill, to pay my
Yep.
water. Really?
Mm-hmm. That they make billions of dollars a day off of us. If they can
Yeah.
get a dollar off us every day, which they do, some way, somehow they're gonna get a
Yeah,
dollar out
some
of
way,
every one of us
somehow.
at least a day.
And
That's
listen,
billions of
we don't
dollars
begrudge you of your wealth. Be wealthy. But this stuff has to be leveled out.
leveled,
You know what
leveled.
I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because, honey,
And
when I die, and I see you out there in the Mediterranean on your $1 million, $1 billion yacht, shaking it up, oh, I'm tipping that bitch over. I'm coming for you. Your baby laying in the crib, I'm putting a pillow over the face. I'm just gonna keep it real. Okay?
it's all gonna crumble because it's the will of the Most High, and there is balance. The
Yes,
balance is going to be restored because the Great Mother she's had enough, and
she's
so
had enough.
it's going to be restored, and there's nothing that they can do about it. That's the good news. That's the good
Yes,
news. So
yes,
move,
that's the
move
good
let's
news.
yeah. So
Yeah. Whether
transitioning,
or not we
right?
see it in our lifetime, but you know what I'm saying? It's coming. It has already been preordained. It
Oh
has to
yes.
happen. Yeah.
Oh
So
yes. Oh yes. I think the next 4 years will be very interesting, and I want the people
yeah.
to really pay attention to the next 4 years particularly, and know that what they're putting in your face is distractions. If they and everything that the mainstream media is telling you, do not. It's the opposite. It's most likely the opposite. Whatever they're
Yeah.
saying in mainstream media, it's most likely the opposite. And I just want the beautiful people watching this broadcast to know that. So transitioning from that subject matter. Let's talk about Kundalini. I've discovered the amazing power of Kundalini, and you know where me recognizing it came from is when I decided to stop being intimate with anyone. So I've shut it
Mhm.
down 100%. I no, you can't touch me, nothing. The only person that's going to touch me is if I find my divine masculine. That's it. If you're not him, you're not touching me, nothing. So I shut it all down. And then when I
Yeah.
did that, man, I'm talking about the power that I
Yeah.
felt within myself. And it's like now I'm like, I'm good. I don't need nobody because the practicing the Kundalini and tapping into your sexual energy in a way that's different than what people are used to, which is probably like going and laying down with somebody, but you can tap into it by
Yeah.
yourself,
Yes,
and
you
it's very
can.
powerful.
Yeah,
It's very
because that
powerful.
coiled serpent at the base of your spine, when you tap in and that energy rises, you can literally have an orgasm. You can literally feel joy. I mean, the frequency in our bodies. that can just be turned on like flipping on a switch. You know what I'm saying? And we have the power. We have this in our body. And when we decide to tap in to raise that Kundalini energy, it can raise you past depression, fear. It can even do healing in the body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The body is a wonderful organism that has so much energy, so much energy,
Mm-hmm.
and just even, learning about your Kundalini and tuning into your own source of power
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
can have
And
such tremendous benefits.
yes, the relation to, another thing they tried to demonize is the snake, the snake.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and it's the snake, some people relate it to the spine, like
Yeah.
it's directly it's the spine, the
Yeah.
spinal cord. And that's why it's important, I think it's super important for people to recognize how important it is to do your stretching, to, make sure that your spine is taken care of, because that flow, we have something called cerebral spinal fluid that goes through the base of our spine all the way up to our you know brain. And so making sure that the spine is aligned, can assist you with your kundalini practices. But I recommend to the ladies out there, to try to research and study what kundalini is and how you can
Yes.
practice um mastering your kundalini energy, and how important it is. And you'll feel amazing. Trust me when I tell you, you will feel amazing after you tap into it.
And you
And then
don't have to, because spirit knows me, I'm lazy. So they told me 10 minutes. Just, stretch and make sure, you get down and the base of your spine is stretched out, you know? And
Mhm.
so, you can start out with 5 minutes and take it up to 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Mhm.
think a lot of people think, oh, you got to sit there for hours and, be in this yoga pose and doing all this. You don't have to do that, but you do have to make sure that your body is properly aligned and stretch, and
Mhm.
mantras, meditation and mantras, because mantra, power of the word. You can even
Mhm.
create your own mantra.
Mhm.
You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? But
Mhm.
it's essential for you to do this. Is your time for tapping in with your higher self, because you have your lower self and you have your middle self and then you have your higher self. And it's all about raising that energy. And they demonize the snake, and the snake represents transformation,
Mhm.
transformation, shedding the old and stepping into the new.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
this is what it is,
Yeah.
because once you do that with yourself, and you start out a little at a time, you will see the transformation. That's why, you know, nothing really rocks me. I had somebody said to me one time, oh, you don't even acknowledge the trolls that come on your planet. Why? They found me interesting enough to troll. You know what I'm saying? I am honored
Mhm.
that you're actually on here. You find this interesting enough to troll? Troll on, because that's what you
Yeah.
were created to do. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so,
Right.
once you come into full alignment with higher and lower self, that don't mean you're perfect, because
No.
you will have days, when, yeah, because we're human, and look at the planet we live on. But for the most part, when you have reached your maturity, your spiritual maturity, and you're in alignment with higher and lower self, nothing can really rock you. You know what I'm saying? You go
Mhm.
through stuff and it's like, okay, what is this teaching me? What can I learn from this? And when you are at a certain spot, there's a part and I love to use the Bible, even though I'm one of the biggest occultists. I just dismiss the part about love your oppressor. Fuck that. Excuse my French.
No, you're
But
fine.
Even though I'm one of the biggest occultists, my first bust down for fools is the Bible. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, because it's a great book of sorcery. It was used to keep us under a spell for 2,000 years. How many thousands of years? And still have so many under a spell. And you can use it. You know, there are parts in the Bible that talks about, how to remove an enemy, how to block, thwart. It's so much. And
Yeah.
there's a part that said, I have never seen the righteous forsaken. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I know I'm honest, I'm ethical,
Yes.
I'm a righteous being, you know,
Yes.
and this is what it is. And, when I hear of spiritualists, that's taking advantage of people, and there's so much unethical of them out there. I can't wait for Mother to roll up her sleeves and come for these fools, because you were given
Yeah.
this great honor to help to awaken others, to help them awaken to their spiritual mastery, that together we can shift this. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because we don't need everybody. Because energy is, you alone by yourself can enter an entire football field, and your energy can be magnified, that entire football field, just you alone. So
Mhm.
just imagine 3 or 4 of us,
Mhm.
an
Mhm.
entire
Yeah.
city, an entire city. And this
Mhm.
is why so much is done, because the day the collective wake up, it overnight, it's a wrap,
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Literally overnight.
Oof.
Literally overnight, for sure. Um, is there anything that you could suggest to a person who is just waking up to the whole idea of spirituality and what um, the benefits of practicing true spirituality is? Is there
Yeah.
anything that you would say, okay, like a starter guide, like, okay, start with these three things? What would you
Yeah.
say
The
to the
first
new
thing,
spiritualist?
when you are first coming into spirituality, the first thing you need to understand is your astrology and your numerology,
Okay.
because this is who you are. You were born under a certain day. You were born with certain planets lined up. This is your science. Like, I was born on a Sunday, Archangel Michael. Monday, Archangel Gabriel. Tuesday, Chamuel. Wednesday, Raphael. Thursday, Metatron. Friday, Uriel. Saturday, Cassiel. You know what I'm saying? You have your number. I'm born on the 16th, July 16th. That's the number 7, and the 6 plus 1 equals 7. I got a lot of sevens. And the number 7 is the number of spirituality. You understand? Your Mercury is how you speak things into existence. Your Mercury, is it in Cancer? You speak with water. Get a glass of water. Is it with fire? You speak with fire. Light some fire and speak something. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Ear, go outside and speak. Earth, get some dirt. Speak into the dirt. Or crystal. Crystal is earth. Speak. You understand? That's the first thing to decoding your spiritual science. And that's what I tell everybody. You are born under a certain date with a certain number and certain planets aligned. This is your science. And when you have fully decoded that, you need a notebook to put your science together, right? Your own science. And when you have decoded that, this is who you are. Everyone has a spiritual name. Tap in and hear, you know? And learn to protect yourself.
Yes.
I tell everybody, you need to be wearing black obsidian and black tourmaline. You can Google the spiritual properties of black tourmaline, how protective it is, and it shields your auric field. You know what I'm saying? I mean, things like copper and copper and hematite. Google the spiritual properties of copper and hematite, because you're shielding yourself. You
Mhm.
understand? Because we have so much negative energy. Because even those of us that are highly spiritual, we will have negative beings that will come. I
Yeah.
can't smoke weed. I cannot smoke weed. I don't know what transpired in slavery with my ancestors. Well, I know, but when I smoked weed, I kill the white people. No, 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 no. Your black ass ain't in physical no more. They can't lock your black ass up, but they can lock my black ass up, running down on random ass white folk with a machete or a gat. No, we are not doing that. And you
No,
gotta
no, no.
know how to distinguish, because I have ancestors that still want vengeance. You know, when I was gonna go to Nigeria and initiate, and they ran down on me like thugs, like, no, you will not step foot on that continent so they can touch your head, because they were still pissed off being sold into slavery by their own people. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, you have to be able to, when you decide that you are going to step in, decode your spiritual system first, your spiritual science. Get a notebook and make sure you write down everything. Your Saturn, your lessons you're here to learn. My Saturn is in Aries. So I know I was here to learn how to control my urge and my impulses, my learn how to control bipolar Betty and my inner psychosis. You know what I'm saying? That was the first thing. Resist the urge to hop across the counter and drop kick a food. You know what I'm saying? So, because Aries is the baby of the zodiac. You got to get to Aries, then you got to get to Taurus, and you got to get to Gemini before you get to the elder, which is, Pisces. And even though Saturn is the mother, Capricorn, but Pisces, because she's been around, and, it was, resist the urge, control your temper. You know what I'm saying? And so, you decode and you start to learn about yourself. And then you even learn, like, what is the crystal, that is best suited for your sign, on top of the protective crystals, because it's a must. Because you will have people, we all have haters. And you will have people that are just malevolent, because I can't tell you, I'm sure when I told folks they don't need to go to Africa and get initiated, I'm sure everything was flung at my black ass, including the kitchen sink. I once had one lady in Benin, I was a part of their circle, and, she ripped off my cousin for some stuff. And when I was very, respectful, and why did you do this? How dare you even contact me? I am going to get the 72 voodoo priests in the village, and we're going to discuss the punishment for you, your ancestors, and your children. Well, why she told that crazy ass bipolar Jamaican that, and my cousin, who was equally crazy Jamaican bipolar, we had the Wonder Twin Power activate on that ass. She's dead now. Okay. So
My
this
goodness.
is just to show you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And these are our own people that if she could have did, imagine how wicked this is, that if you could harm somebody's ancestors, you would. And we need to know that there are some true malevolent people on this planet, and it's okay. Yeah. But I make sure to stay protected, and I make sure to let them know, you run up, you're gonna get done up. That's it. And this is what it is. But you first have to protect yourself. You have to decode your spiritual science. That's the first thing. Learn your numerology. What planet is your numerology associated with? Because if you are born on the 2nd, this is dealing with the moon. This is all about intuition and psychic ability that you need to develop. You are here, to develop your psychic ability and your intuition. I mean, everybody's here for that. But, and the number 2, you need to be working with the moon. The moon energy. Learn the phases of the moon, the waxing, the waning, the full, the new. You understand? These are your energies. What is in your chart, your house? Because nowadays you can go online and get your free chart done. And when you get your free chart done, you download it and you go through, like it says, your Jupiter in Taurus. What I love about this age, everything's online, and you can Google Jupiter in Taurus, and it gives you a breakdown of what that means. It is your job to study that, because when it says know thyself, you have to know and master you. That's the first thing on your spiritual path. Know thyself, because when you know who you are and what you're working with, You know what I'm saying? You become
Mhm.
an expert on yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
nobody can come along and now you know who you are. Nobody can come along, because when I was watching Mama T episode, I seen one of the sisters was talking about she went somewhere for a reading, and how the woman tried to have her, do a ritual and go over her body with a cloth with money to give it to her. And that person was a spiritual vampire trying to take this priestess energy. You have to know yourself so that when you meet up, because there's a lot of spiritual vampires and parasites that will try to attach themselves, and you have to know and recognize that, to be like, oh no, wait a minute. Mm-mm. But if you don't know yourself, you're going to get taken advantage of. You have to become an expert on you.
So how does one if someone was around a spiritual vampire,
Mm-hmm.
how does or someone has someone who's a spiritual vampire like trying to siphon from their energy, their aura, how does one um if it's happened, like so you
Yeah.
tried to protect yourself or maybe you didn't know to protect yourself, it's
Mm-hmm.
happened, you feel something happening, you recognize something happening, how do you break that?
Well, first of all, when you wear, and I'm just going to Google here. Let me just get
Okay.
here. Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Spiritual properties of black tourmaline. Go. Okay. Black tourmaline grounds your energy, opening up the connection between earth and your spirit, providing a pathway to light. It is strong protective attributes, shields your auric field, okay, from negativity. When you are in the presence of a psychic vampire, you feel weak, you feel tired, you feel drained. But when you are wearing, like, look, even I got on, you know, hematite, hematite,
Mm-hmm.
waist
Mm-hmm.
beads, you know what I'm saying? And,
Mm-hmm.
um, all my stones are all about shielding my aura. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
can shield your aura through meditation and mantra and stuff, but the stones are here for a reason, to help you. And
Yeah.
you have to do protection. You have to do spiritual bath, like even once a week. And now I love, there's a on Amazon, Art of the Root, there's Florida water soaps that people can use to cleanse themselves. But the first thing is to protect yourself, because you will feel psychic vampires when you have them come in your cipher and they want to call you 3 o'clock in the morning to talk about some mundane shit. I don't want to hear you just broke up with your man 3 o'clock in the morning. Go sit down somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so you have to be able to recognize, and if you are spiritually awakened and tuned in, you can recognize them, because when you go around them, you just feel that energy. You listen
Now
to the
what do you
way. Go
what
ahead.
about so how do you recommend, like what if someone recognizes that they're feeling what you're describing, but it's someone like maybe in their family or someone close
Well,
to
then
them?
you limit your contact with them. You know what I'm saying? You limit your contact with them. If you are not dependent on them to help you pay your rent, to give you money, you limit your contact. But you still need, because here's the thing now. You see my stones I'm wearing? I'll fuck around in
I
these
see,
streets. Right? This, you know what I'm saying? Numite, you understand? And all of this. What that does is that even creates a block. They might not even want to be in your presence for too long, because it's just, I don't know. I can't, it's something about their energy. Because there was somebody that I was seeing, and spirit was like, you need to get rid of this person, but be careful. They're crazy. They'll stalk you. So, they told me to use agrimony, and I had never used that herb before. So I decided to do some agrimony, some research on agrimony. Come to find out, that was the herb that was used by the Catholic priest for exorcism.
Hmm.
And so, when I knew that person was coming over, I lifted up the mattress, sprinkled the agrimony on the box spring, unzipped the pillow, put some. They came, spent the night, and got up and broke up with me the next day. And I had to act like, oh, why did you break up with me? And, I don't know. The energy has changed. I just can't be in this relationship anymore. Okay, well, if that's what you want. But when they left, I was doing the MC Hammer dance. Can't touch this. Because I dodged another bullet. Like I said, I've had several men trying to kill my black ass, and I dodged another bullet. And so it was like, you understand? So there are things that you can do, but I strongly recommend, because, and let me go here. Let me show your peoples. This is, let's see here. Etsy. Hold on. Black tourmaline pendant. And we go here to Etsy. Look at this, the tree of life. And it's even encased in copper. It's only $16. Don't tell me you ain't got 16 motherfucking dollars to get you a black tourmaline pendant wrapped in copper. Okay? Because even you Google the spiritual properties of copper. Let's go here. Copper is said to have many spiritual properties. The ability to balance energy, promote healing, enhance intuition. Copper cleanses negative energy and restores balance. It's a conductor of energy in the spiritual realm, similar to how it conducts electricity in the physical world.
Yep.
You see these copper bracelets? Don't tell me you ain't got some money. Y'all out here buying all this fuckery and foolery. Listen, I got copper around my ankle. I don't fool around in these spiritual streets. You understand?
The copper is definitely important for sure.
Okay, honey. Copper, brass, yes. You have to protect yourself spiritually.
Yes.
Because when you realize that it's so much negativity and so much, that's why none of this stuff bothers me. Because when I walk out, I am shielded. I make sure my children wear, I buy them their tourmaline and I put it on a necklace, because you're going to school, you're coming around. And they didn't even like taking spiritual bath. But when I started buying Florida water soap, being that I'm the one that make the money and spend it, you're going to use some Florida water soap. And you taking spiritual bath and you don't even know it. Okay.
What is it called? It's called Florida water soap.
Yeah, Florida water soap. And there's look at Art of the Root. Let me go here. Okay, Amazon. Okay, hold on. Amazon uncrossing bath soap. Bada bing. And it comes up, Art of the Root. There's a store called Art of the Root. And they got uncrossing bath soap that got all the herbs and the oil. They even got this one, Art of the Root, uncrossing bath wash for banishing and for purification. Stop playing with me. Don't act like y'all ain't got money for this. And it's only $12.99. Banishing, purification, and spiritual protection. You know what I'm saying? To cleanse yourself. There are certain things that you need to do when you are awakened spiritually. Like I said, the first thing you do is decode your spiritual science. You have to decode your spiritual science, because you want to know what you're walking with and what you're working with. You want to know your Mercury. How do you speak things into existence? What are your spiritual gifts? Your Jupiter. My Jupiter is in Leo. In Vedic astrology, it's Cancer, but I ride with both. So Cancer is all about healing and nurturing. And with Leo, this is about also healing, purification. You know what I'm saying? And teaching. You feel me? And everything in your chart is about your spiritual science. Now, I'm a Cancer, Moon in Scorpio, rising in Pisces. I'm all water. And so I know water is all about memory, everything evolved out of water, and this is purification, this is healing. And
Mhm.
so when you're a Cancer, and what's your sign, Priestess?
I'm an Aries.
Okay, so Aries, yeah, I got your Aries. First of all, the Kemetic goddess that rules over Aries is Sekhmet. And even though people focus on the more destructive aspects of Sekhmet, she's also a healer. She heals through purification. And so Aries, it's a warrior type energy, and it's fire, it's
Mhm.
passion,
Mhm.
and Aries is the alpha female.
Yeah.
So you ain't here for no fuckery and foolery.
No.
You're going to sit firmly on your throne. You can't relegate yourself saying, oh, you can rule me. No, I rule myself. And you can
Yeah.
rule beside me as a divine masculine. They got your stuff together and we rule together. But it won't be me at your feet rubbing your. No, we ain't doing that. And so, and when you look at the Aryan energy, your first elemental energy is fire. So you can write stuff down on a piece of paper and light it afire, what you desire to manifest. You know what I'm saying? You're working with fire, with candle magic. You feel
Yes.
me? You
I
got to
can.
know, yes, you got to know who you are, because
Mhm.
this is the first things, and learning about your spiritual guides. Because when you come here, you got spiritual guides. You come in here with a full army. You got to know who your army, your team is. Like I said, you're born on a Sunday, Archangel Michael. And what does Michael or Michelle rules over? You understand? This is a warrior type energy. This is the bust down. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then you
Mhm.
look at Sunday, sun. It's an energy, even though I'm a Cancer, it's a fire energy. Ra, Amunet,
Mhm.
Sekhmet,
Mhm.
Bast. You understand?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And once you've decoded your spiritual side, then you work on protecting yourself. You have to have protection to shield yourself, because you got people that can throw at your ass. And next thing you done lost your job, your relationship done broke up, you had a miscarriage. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all types of stuff. It's real out here, honey.
Mhm.
And when
Mhm.
you shield yourself. First of all, as Nubian people, one of the first things we need to be wearing is copper. You have to wear a piece of copper,
Yeah. Yep.
because this is one of the most powerful conductor of energy and
Yes.
protection. Okay.
Mhm.
And these
Mhm.
are things that you have to know.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so
Mhm.
that's your first thing. Decode your spiritual science and your numerology, and get some protection going around you. And then, yeah,
Yes. I love that. Yes. 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 I
yeah,
agree
and
with everything.
create your own spiritual path. You
Yeah.
don't need to join, because, when I first
No.
started out, I grew up in a Rastafari and Nyabingi, and my first system is Obia, but during my 20s, I was like, oh my God, Ifan, I wanted to. And it was so much fuckery in those spiritual communities. And I just couldn't, and I ran off, and they tried to come for my black ass. And what I realized is that I had to create my own system. And that's why I call it Shamalama Ding Dong, because I do a little bit of Solomon Keys, hoodoo, you know what I'm saying? Obia. I do some Kemetic, some Sumerian. I do astrology. I do numerology. I have a system that I have created for myself, and it works wonderfully for me
Mhm.
you know
Mhm.
and so this
Agree.
is what it is. You got to find the best system that works for you. And listen, you, like I said, you don't need to be initiated. You don't
No.
need to join a group. You need to
Yep.
first find out who you are and do your protection, because oftentimes a lot of people, they run and they join a group, and then it's so much stuff that goes on, and because they're not protected, they have those people in the groups that are malevolent, that can harm you spiritually.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
need to be able to protect yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree. One of the last things I think we I wanted to discuss with you, Priestess,
Mhm.
is the idea of that everyone who has melanation in their skin that they all came over here from Africa. It's my belief that there were people who had melanation in their skin right here and all
Of
over the
course.
place.
Listen,
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
I personally identify as an indigenous woman, an original woman
Yes.
is how I label myself. I think that it was another intentional plot that these nefarious individuals um, concocted to make everyone believe that everyone came over here on ships from
Yeah.
Africa when that was not the case. And the benefit of them telling this fallacy would be that they get to keep what was never theirs. And I'm talking about all the Americas, North America, South America,
Yeah.
Central America, all of the, what they say is US territories, which would be the West Indies, Puerto Rico, all of that.
Oh, yeah.
There were people who were melanated there already, and everyone did not come over here from Africa. Not that there's anything wrong with the beautiful continent of Africa, but I'm just simply saying that that I identify as an indigenous woman. Um, so what would you say regarding that?
Well, first of
Regarding
all, there's a lot of hidden history out there. Our people, we were the first Black Europeans, the first
Mhm.
Black Japanese, Chinese, Hindus, Dravidians. You feel me?
Mhm.
And even as a native Jamaican, my father's mother, she was Tiano native, was already there. We were already there. And my father's father was Syrian from Syria. And so there's a brother on YouTube named Dane Calloway where he got all the history, okay, of who we are. Yes,
Yes.
everybody did not come over on no ships.
Mhm.
We were all over this entire planet already. Yes, some did come over on a ship, but not in the volume that they say. Stop playing with me. And
Right.
you have got, but again, it's about knowing your history that you can bypass. Okay. Yeah. Because there is a lot of untruth out there. So you don't know who you are. And the nefarious one, who are really the infants on this planet and who are the minority, the true minority, because they call us minority, but we're actually the majority. They're only like 12% of the world's population because
Mhm.
Spirit has revealed to me in some of them European countries, only got like 50,000 people.
And their reproduction rates are
Has
not,
gone down. Yeah. Yeah. Even the Chinese, their
yeah,
reproductive rate has gone down. And
yeah.
so this is what it is. And this, again, is not color. We're just,
No.
because the truth has to be told. And it says the truth shall set you free.
Hmm.
You understand? And so this is what it is. But a lot of us were already here all over because we were the first people on this planet.
Hmm.
And we have been all over this planet.
Hmm.
And people just have to, do the research.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Did
want
you
to,
know? Yeah. Yeah. Did you know there were Black Chinese and Black Japanese? Where do you think they came from? Because they were already long since there. Okay. They didn't come over on no slave ships. Stop playing.
right, right.
Okay.
You know, I love that you brought up Dane Calloway and his beautiful
Yes.
wife, Miss Mrs. Calloway. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all don't know who that is, please go to YouTube and
And
type in Dane.
subscribe. He will make you pinch your nipples because he had
And
me
you
pinching my nipples.
listen, the work that
Mhm.
he is doing,
Yes.
um, beautiful wife is so, so, so amazing. And I just want to say,
Yes.
if they happen to come across this video, you are amazing, both of you. Keep doing what you're
Yes.
doing.
Yes.
It is
Thank
great
you.
work that you are doing.
Yes, for
Great
all the
work.
research that you have done and put out there to educate people on who they really are.
Yes, yes,
Huh.
yes. I think that that is so, so beautiful. And I want to say really quick on the indigenous topic, because I don't know how many people caught it, but there was in regards to the UAPs, right? And the U all this stuff that's going on in our skies, right? The drones and all the stuff that people are seeing. There was a video. that came out. It was on, I'm not going to even say the platforms. I don't want to give them any credit, but there was millions of views on this video, and they were discussing a whistleblower that came out and was talking about these UAPs. There was a doctor, right, who was on this episode, and he was saying that they were studying people that were quote unquote psychic assists. Okay. They were psychic assists that they were studying, and these psychic assists had indigenous native backgrounds, right? Wait for it, wait for it. They said that these psychic assists with these indigenous native backgrounds had the ability to psychically connect to these UFO, these aircrafts, these crafts. Now, the funny part is they were showing the skin of the people, okay, who were these psychic assists, who had this native indigenous background. And they were showing the skin because they said that when these people were coming into contact with these UAPs, that they were developing blisters on their skin, right? Like a herpes, that's how they described it, a herpes-like blister on their skin. And when they showed the picture of the skin, it was all non-melanated people. And they said, and they said that they were developing these blisters when they came into contact with these UAPs. But they were the United States government was working with people who were of an indigenous native background, and they had the ability to psychically communicate with these UAPs, and they were developing blisters on their skin. And then they also said that they were going to be planning an event, right, to where these people, they're all non-melanated, the ones that they showed, they're going to summon, keyword, summon a UAP.
Oh.
Now, here's what I see. Here's what I hear when I hear this now. Okay. I want the indigenous people, the people who are melanated, to listen to me. I can say personally that there's a little drop of truth in what they said. The little drop of truth is that if you are of indigenous background, native background, if you're tapped in spiritually, you absolutely can communicate psychically with higher realms and
Of
dimensions.
course,
Okay.
we got ancestors that was Anunnaki from Sirius A and B. I know I've
Yes.
gone out into the backyard and seen aliens. I done seen some
Yeah.
wild shit on this planet. Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. And you have the
Gargoyles are
ability.
real. Gargoyles
Right.
are
Yeah.
real. Okay.
Right. 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 And you and I, when I'm connecting to higher intelligence, I don't have any lesions, bruising on me whatsoever. So I find it interesting that they're saying that these people who are of indigenous background, first of all, don't got no melanation in their skin. And then second of all, they are developing blisters. And then third of all, you're going to summon something. Now, you can summon, in my view, you can summon some things now. You can summon some demons out, but you don't summon when I connect to the divine, when I connect to higher intelligence, I'm not summoning them. I'm welcoming them. I'm,
Yes.
inviting them.
Yes.
I don't summon. To summon sounds just like some nefarious behavior, because to
Yes.
summon is more authoritative. It's like, come here
Authority.
now.
There goes that ego again. That
Yeah.
ego. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just want the people to know that when they do this event and they summon whatever they summon, I don't know what they're gonna summon something all right, but it ain't gonna be what they're gonna try to convince you that it is. They're going to summon probably one of their reverse engineered crafts that they tried
Oh,
to
of
create
course. Yeah.
to and I'll put the link to the video that I'm referring to in the description, and I'll also put the link to Dane Calloway's, and I'll also put the link to Priestess Auset Ra Amen as well in the description box of this video so that you guys can reference it. But I thought that was interesting, so I wanted to bring that up to the people who are indigenous, people who are melanated, because they're liars. And there's a little drop of truth, like I said. Indigenous people, melanated people, we absolutely have the capability to tap in on that type of level. But if every single whistleblower that they bring into the table about these UAPs, about these UFOs, are all non-melanated people, they're lying. They're lying. I just want to say that. I just want that to be known. They're lying.
Yeah, and it's not, again, it's not about race, but when you look at how much has been done with our history, from taking Yahshua, skin like burnt bronze, hair like wool. They're trying to portray the Sumerians, Babylonians, Phoenicians, all melanated people, the Egyptians, you know,
Yes.
and it just is what it is. And now that we, the awakened ones that know our history, we are just not going to co-sign the fuckery and the foolery. And it ain't about racism. And whoever got, if you get your feelings hurt behind what we're saying, then you need to check yourself. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I
this is just the truth of always having our stuff hijacked, and now you want to go summon.
right.
Yeah, okay.
You know, you don't summon a benevolent being. You might be able to
Yeah.
summon a malevolent one,
Mhm.
but you don't summon the divine. You don't. You're supposed to be you're supposed to be gentle and welcoming and please come
And
in, with
respectful.
divine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna summon you. Like that sound just like something else.
Arrogant, narcissistic,
Mhm.
ego, the ego. And there goes that thing, the ego. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, like you said, this is definitely not like I want to, I had my great grandmother was Irish. I always say
Yeah,
I love the people of the good, the people who are truly looking for humanity to be better and just are there
yeah.
about the truth. And so I wanted to, if anyone who is, what I say non-melanated watching this video, we love you over here too. It's just
Okay,
about, are
yeah,
you with
because
the truth or
yeah,
are you not with the truth? That's
and
just what it's about.
the reality is we are one human family because everybody got two
Yeah.
eyes, a nose, and a mouth. We just have different skin color, hair texture because the younger race evolved from us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all
Mhm.
didn't come from another planet. Y'all came from us. And so at the end of the day, this is about the righteous people because look at what happened with the Babylonians and the Sumerian. Did not Murdoch and all of them melanated went to war with Tiamat and murdered her. You know what I'm saying? Look at these young brothers just murdering each other. Who killed Tupac? Who killed Biggie? Another
Yep.
melanated people. This
Yep.
ain't got nothing to do with white and black because you had white
Yes.
people that was getting bust down in the civil rights movement, getting clubbed over the head. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Fighting for the
Yeah,
righteous cause. Yes.
yeah.
Fighting for the cause. And you
Fight,
have
fighting for
melanated.
equality, fighting
Yeah.
for equality.
And
So
you
at
have
the
you
end of
have
the day,
melanated guys. I'm sorry,
yeah,
excuse me. Sorry. Go
no,
ahead. Go
but
ahead.
at the end of the day, the story has to be told, and if we who have had so much of our history stolen and even other people have supplanted their images in our ancestral images, then we have to speak on it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you feel some type of way, then you need to check yourself.
I agree. And I want to also reiterate that I know I want to say this publicly because I want the people to really know I'm about, if you are of the benevolent light, if you are about the goodness in people, if you are about humanity, balance, equality, I love you. I love you. And I want to say publicly that I'm not at all saying that just because someone's your color don't make them your kind. Okay. And I
All
want to say,
skin folk ain't kinfolk,
Kim,
or all
yes.
kinfolk, whatever. Yeah, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, and that's real.
Right. Right. I know personally, if I had to add it up, there probably was more people who look like me who did me dirty than people who did
Exactly.
not, you
Me
know?
too. Yeah, all the men that
Um,
tried to kill my ass was my peoples. Shit.
right. So we're in no way, shape, or form trying to suggest that
Right.
all people who are melanated are great, divine God. No, no, not. And also, we're not trying to suggest that all people who are not are, evil, nefarious people. No, that's not the case
No.
whatsoever. At all. It's just truly about alignment, frequency. Are you about the truth? And if you are, then that means across the board, you can't just be about the truth right here in this pocket while ignoring this one over here. It has to be across the board. And there's a lot of truth that has to be revealed when it comes down to the true identity of certain things. and like you said, Yahshua, how they whitewashed him, and all of these
And
Yehoshua,
when you look
Yahshua,
at the
some people say
war on
Jesus.
the divine feminine, it was Nubian males killing Nubian females, overthrowing kingdoms, and trafficking, women and children into slavery and prostitution. Look at that Mary Magdalene, the sacred whore. What? What? Stop
Mm-hmm,
it.
mm-hmm,
Stop.
mm-hmm. Someone told me about a book called All Women Are Psychic. You ever read that book?
No, but all women are psychic,
Mm-hmm.
and men too. They just have to tap into, we can tap into ours easier. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I believe everyone, not I believe, everyone has some psychic ability. It just,
Yeah.
some might have five and some might have, like 20 or 30. There's
Mm-hmm.
levels to this,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
it's up to you to how you want to cultivate and develop yours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
Hmm.
agree. Well, Priestess, I think that this was a wonderful, wonderful conversation that you and I have shared on this beautiful. Is today Sunday? I'm losing track of this. Yeah, today's Sunday. On this beautiful Sunday, I think. Yep, it is Sunday. On this beautiful Sunday. I appreciate your time. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
your
having me.
energy.
Yeah.
Your insight is truly valued. Your intentions do not go in vain. You taking the time and the effort to try to help uplift the people. You're not trying, you are uplifting and educating the people. It does not go in vain. We thank you so very much for everything that you do on in public and in behind the scenes. We
Yeah.
thank you truly.
Thank you for having me. I am always honored to link with, with the kindred spirits. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just doing the work of the mother because it was her that told me, because usually I'm that witch in the forest in my cabin, screw society and their craziness. But the mother was like, you know what? You have so much information. You need to get out there and share it. So I'm just doing the mother's work. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
To
That's
help.
one of our goals in this realm is to be servants, and I'm a servant of
Yes.
the Most High, and that's what I do. That's who I work for. I'm employed by the Most High. That's what I do.
Yes.
And so I appreciate you so very much, and we thank you for joining us.
All righty. Thank you, Priestess.
I hope that you enjoyed that conversation with the beautiful priestess. In the description box below, you will find links to a couple YouTube channels that we referenced during this conversation that I think would be helpful to the people of the benevolent light. You will also find a couple of other links down in the description for some other services that may help you along your spiritual journey. Until next time, be safe, take care, Ashe. The Light Collective, the Light Collective.